Welcome into today's podcast, right here at the Cog Hill 40. Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the canned ham for this episode, so here's Jason and Brooke. Johnny Carson didn't have nothing on these folks.
What is up, everybody? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast. I guess I should say, what is going on, Cog Squad?
That's right.
This is,
It sounds more personal.
well,
We do get a little personal.
and at one time I thought, that was just maybe a little silly, but I've gotten so many comments that say, we love it when you call us the Cog Squad.
Well, you are the Cog Squad. No denying.
No denying
If you're watching this, then or listening to this, then you're a member of the Cog Squad.
That's right. And even the people that are doing our Facebook, they're pushing us. They're the Cog Squad.
Cog Squad.
So, for now on, remind me.
Yeah, and I just thought, I was going to say, we went to take our thumbnail for this podcast, and I looked at the camera and I said, we're backwards.
Yeah,
I was on the wrong side, and I'm actually sitting where I always do, but the picture was backwards. And
yeah, it was crazy.
I wonder if you would have ever noticed it.
I don't know if I would have or not. The camera's got a flip-up lens on it, and we can see what's going on and what's being recorded. And yeah, I couldn't see.
Isn't it funny how different people recognize different things?
It is. Yeah, because I didn't notice it. I was on this side and you were on that side.
And as soon as I looked at it,
you saw it
I
right off the
noticed
bat. Yeah.
But then there's something that you would notice, that I may never see.
Like the spider crawling up on the wall. We're just not doing it right now. I haven't seen it lately.
Or like the yogurt that I left in the car the last time I got groceries.
Hey, that's just because I picked up something and saw it back there, wasn't it? I was looking and...
Oh, it made me so... Jason had to warn me. He said, please don't get mad at yourself. Please don't get mad at yourself.
I just know how you are. You would have beat yourself up about leaving that container of yogurt in the back of the car.
And I said, okay, I promise. What is it? And I thought it was going to be something really, really, really bad. He said, you left the yogurt in the car the other day. I said, it'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
But if he had not warned me, I would have beat myself up over it.
You would have. You'd have been,
how stupid of me.
I left the yogurt back here. Oh, my gosh, what was I thinking? So, yeah, I'm going to do that from now on. I'm going to warn you.
But I tell you, I just came home from the grocery store.
Yeah.
And I brought lunch for you.
Yeah.
Marycarl and I may or may not have ate ours on the way home. So I told you to sit down and enjoy your lunch, and I would get the groceries out.
That lunch was a meat and 3.
A meat and 3.
Except I had 4 vegetables.
I did too.
Did you have 4 vegetables?
I did. You never saw mine because I
didn't.
May or may not have ate it on the way home.
It's just so good. They're pink-eye purple hull peas. Always get double.
So I got home and I told you to go ahead and eat, and you were like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, go ahead and eat. I'll get the groceries in. But I have a tendency to leave things in my car that I don't need immediately because we're a little short on storage.
We are short on storage.
So the hatch area of my car is always, like clothes I need to donate to the Goodwill.
Yeah.
They have no place in the camper. And so I put them in my car and say, next time I go by there, I'll drop them off. Well, groceries tend to get hidden under those things.
Yes.
One other thing that's in the car, and it's been riding around with me for probably a month.
What is it?
Marycarl had the bright idea one day that she wanted one of those science fair project boards.
Yes.
To take pictures of her chickens with.
Yes.
And so we went and we got the special board, but it's never been taken out of the car.
Still in the car, yeah.
So every time I do get something that has a large capacity, I have to move that around, and that's how the yogurt got left in.
But you did leave the ice cream in for a little bit.
I always pick up my mom's things when I do a Walmart pickup or whatever kind of pickup. So I unloaded all of our groceries.
Mm-hmm.
I told Jason I was going to run to Mom's and take hers, and it's easier for me to take the car over there. Not being lazy, it's just a lot of bags to carry. So I drove the car over, and I got all her things out, took them in her house, came back, went to shut the hatch, and realized the Magnum ice cream bars that he has never tried.
That was suggested by you guys.
That's right. We're still in the car.
So
luckily it hadn't been, 5 minutes or so.
That's right.
And they weren't coming out outside the package yet. So I immediately went and stuck those in the freezer. And little space that we have to limit our frozen food.
Yeah, we do. We got a little bitty freezer.
So, by the way, when you open the freezer,
something gonna fall out.
I bought some.
You ready?
frozen black-eyed peas we like to.
Ooh.
And they're probably going to hit you in the head. So beware that you may or may not make it to eating those ice cream bars because you may be knocked out.
And I will give y'all a fully thorough review on them ice cream bars. I had several fans say, you got to try.
Well, you know what made me
ice cream bars.
You know what made me add those? So we do the Alexa. I'm not going to say her because she'll be responding if you have one.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We do the Alexa for our shopping list, and we add things to it. And when it's time to go to the store or make a pickup list or whatever, then we say, Alexa, what's on our shopping list? And she spurts it out. So you had that on the shopping list.
I did.
So last night I was making the grocery list online, and I went to that Magnum ice cream, and guess what it said?
Out of stock. You guys heard me say how good it was, and y'all went to our grocery store and bought it all up.
I think it was out of stock the last time I went to get it, too, and that was before we even talked about it. But they did have a chocolate raspberry, which to me doesn't sound very appealing.
I'm not a chocolate raspberry, but was it Magnum chocolate?
Yes. So, I mean, had they not had the bars,
you would have got the chocolate raspberry.
I would have got the chocolate raspberry.
Well, you know what? I say next time.
You may not say that after you try these bars.
Well, you might be right. I told her the good thing about the bars is I don't have to worry about eating too much. I got one bar. I can eat the one bar.
Portion control.
With the pint of ice cream, it's so hard to stop eating that pint of ice cream. Because it's in that little container and you're thinking, it ain't that much. It's just a pint, but it's a lot of calories.
I've told y'all how picky Marycarl is when it comes to, especially eating sweets.
Yeah.
Like, we went to do this Walmart pickup. Jason stayed here, stopped and got our meat and three. The first thing I ate on my plate was this slice of lemon cake. That was the first thing I ate.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, I ate it. And I loved it.
It was
and
good.
It's portion control. It's a very small.
It is a small piece.
It's perfect.
It is.
I mean,
a small piece.
It's all you need, really.
It's
the
really
end of
about.
Your meal.
It is. It's about 2 spoonfuls, basically.
It's a little 2-inch square, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for me because I don't want to overdo it. But I ate that first, and we got home, and I didn't really see what all Marycarl had eaten out of her plate because I was driving and stuff in my face at the same time. So I went to go put her plate in the refrigerator. Of course, I open it up and I see how much she's eaten out of it because she's not a big eater.
Right.
And I have to watch myself because I say you eat as much as a bird, and little things like that. But in reality, she's just a little girl, and she doesn't have a big stomach. So
shaking the camera.
Sorry.
It's easy to do on this little bitty tiny table.
But when I opened up her plate, the first thing I saw was her lemon cake was still there. And I thought, no, I didn't eat it. But I thought when I opened it up, I thought, wow, that's the first thing I ate, and hers is still here. And I do give her my cornbread because it's something that she really, really likes.
Yes.
So I gave her my cornbread, and she had eaten the cornbread, but she didn't eat the lemon cake.
That's okay.
You'll eat it later, won't
I'll
you?
eat it later.
Or if I get to it first, I might.
I think they were missing buttermilk today.
Oh, the cornbread?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know because I gave mine to Marycarl.
It didn't. It usually, I can tell buttermilk cornbread from non-buttermilk cornbread. And either they changed what buttermilk they were using and it didn't have that twang to it, or it didn't have buttermilk in it.
I bet it didn't have buttermilk in it because I know what you're talking about. I've eaten there enough to know when it does and when it doesn't.
And it's night and day different to me.
It is
so much better with buttermilk.
It is. You can really tell a difference.
Yeah. Cornbread's good. No matter how you make it, but with buttermilk, it's really good.
Well, I tell you, you just can't cook for the price that they charge for that meat. Well, meat and 3 or vegetables
or
4
vegetables,
times. Yeah. A little slice of cake and a drink.
And, typically, we love vegetables. But, one main reason that we usually get all vegetables is that they tend to have fried. It's usually the meat.
But you know what
and we
they
try
had
to stay
today?
away from. I saw they have fried shrimp.
Well, what Marycarl got, you don't know what she got.
She got the barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken. How did you remember that?
I just saw it on there. It was barbecue chicken, fried shrimp, and another fried dish. I forget what the other one was.
Catfish.
Oh, it was fried catfish.
Fried catfish.
So I try to
Catfish
stay.
Friday.
We try to stay away from fried food as much as possible. Really, the only time I have a hard time resisting fried food is when it comes to French fries.
Yeah, I'm not a French fry eater.
That's like my vice, I guess.
Well, see, I have no problem with staying, except for Chick-fil-A. Now, I love Chick-fil-A French fries.
Yeah.
I ate those first.
Right.
And
They
then
are
I
good.
eat my sandwich last. But I'm like searching around the bottom of the bag trying to find some extras when it comes
That's
to
good.
Chick-fil-A. But that's really the only
All
French
fries
fry.
are good. Well, I say not. You know what fries I like?
I know what fries you like. Checkers.
Oh yeah, I like those. And I like
Homemade?
homemade. Yeah, I like all fries. I really do. The one that I really like too, and I guess maybe it's not considered a fry.
Spit it out. What is it?
Those potato logs.
Oh, yeah. When we were moving,
They're
I was
so
just doing grab and go mainly for Jason because I could eat pretty much anything.
I was staying here by myself a good bit.
Yeah. But Marycarl and Jason, they had to, well, not to say I didn't have to eat, but I could eat anything, whereas
Right.
they needed more nutrition. So, nutrition or not, potato logs are always at a gas station.
Always.
And the one right down the road from us does have some pretty good ones.
They're
I
so
just said
good.
I'm not a French fry eater, but I would still want one or two when I was lacking food,
Mm-hmm.
and they were really good.
You know what's had good fries?
What?
I miss Flip Burger.
Yeah, that place. Now look, that.
And milkshakes.
But you know what I liked
Yeah.
about the French fries?
What's that?
Is they had that. It sounds gross. It really sounds gross.
What's the pronunciation of that sauce?
Mayonnaise?
Yeah, but it's not mayonnaise. It's called something else.
Well, I call it mayonnaise sauce.
Gosh, Lee, I can't remember the name of it, but it's a certain, they call it something, and it's not just straight mayonnaise. It's got stuff mixed in it. Garlic it's heavy, a lot of garlic in it.
Marycarl was always grossed out to see us dip our French fries in it, but it was so
It was
good.
really good.
And now I would eat the French fries just for the dip.
It was good. It was really, really, really good.
So what'd you have on your plate? You had peas twice.
Peas twice, squash casserole,
Uh-huh.
and not sweet potatoes.
Potato salad.
Potato salad.
I ordered it, and I still didn't remember what you had.
That's what I had.
Well, I had hash brown casserole,
How
which
was
I've
it?
never had
Was it
before. It
good?
was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously had some cream of mushroom soup in it, and I could taste the mushrooms, and I am just not. Oh my goodness,
You're
y'all!
not a mushroom fan.
I don't know what it is about mushrooms. To me, they really probably don't have any flavor much. It's a texture.
Yeah, plus too, I think the only mushroom you're really eating is those little button mushrooms
Those
that are
little nasty ones.
really common on pizzas and cream of mushroom
Oh
soup.
goodness!
Like I'm some kind of mushroom expert. I've never eaten many types of mushrooms either.
No, I remember we had a lion's mane at Little Cog, and we often talked about.
Getting it. Everybody said it was so good, sauteed.
Yeah, and we probably should have, but we didn't. So
And really good for your brain is what they claim.
I need all the brain help I can get.
Lion's mane's supposed to be good for your memory.
So I would get the hash brown casserole again. I just did not care for the mushroom part, but I can do,
Right.
around that. I had squash casserole,
it was good.
and I had potato salad.
It's good too.
I had lemon cake.
What was
First,
your fourth veggie?
peas.
Oh yeah, the purple peas.
And I tell you, I saved those for last because usually peas are not my favorite thing. But I told Marycarl, they come in this little,
Yeah.
like at the fair when they have those little containers,
Yes,
those
it's a
little
little-
red and white
Mhm.
little semi bowls. I told Marycarl, I said, I could just about turn these things up and drink them. They were so good.
I turned mine over into the plate so I could get them all.
Oh,
yeah, I have a
did you?
tendency hard to get them all, but I never thought about I could. When I got down
And
to the end,
it folded up really
you could
well.
fold it up and
Yep. Get you a big bundle at
I
one
know what I'm
time.
going to do next time.
I know what you're going to do too.
I could eat all four. All four of my veggies could be those purple whole peas.
Well, you always say peas twice, and I'm like, I can't get something twice. I need a variety.
It's so good.
But none of us got slaw, which was on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else was on the menu, but
Slaw would have been good with a shrimp. That's what I tend to think of with
Marycarl
slaw.
had baked beans.
It's barbecue or seafood was slaw.
But you know what they have that I have never had before, and I tried it, and I love it?
What's that?
Have you ever had their tomato casserole?
Mm-mm.
I think that's what they call it.
Is it good?
Didn't I tell you that's what it was called, tomato casserole?
It's either that or is it, I guess it's like a tomato pie. I bet.
I think it says tomato casserole.
Okay.
But it's got a lot of sugar in it. You can taste the sweetness of
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
But you would think it would be just acidic tasting.
And I guess that's why it's got a lot of sugar in it to offset the.
But it's really good. I mean, every time they offer it, I get it because I really.
I'll have to try it then.
You will.
I will have to try that for sure.
I probably couldn't duplicate the recipe myself and make it as good as what they offer, but I'll just get it from them and let them. I tell you, y'all are going to think I'm a pitiful cook once I get back in the kitchen after eating these good foods that other people have cooked.
No, you'll be fine.
Think I'll get back into the grind?
You'll be fine. Hey, look at it on the bright side.
I'll be willing.
And look at all the cooking I've been doing, so I want to continue to cook, too.
Good deal.
I used to cook a lot.
Yeah, but, I mean, time gets away from you, and
yeah,
you've just always been so busy that I have hated to say, hey, you want to cook out? Because it's almost like it would kind of be a chore with all that needed to be done.
Yeah, I guess so. I enjoy it, though. I enjoy it a lot, especially here when it's the cool temperatures you got when you're one of those heaters.
Yeah.
And I never thought one of those, I don't know, a patio heater.
Yeah.
Never would have thought that they would have been, and they can't be efficient. They can't because it's just wide open. And I thought, it's not really, it's just going to waste so much heat that you're really not going to feel it. But it was cold that one day.
It was.
And they were on sale at Tractor Supply.
Yep.
And you went and grabbed one, and last night I had it on. And you can feel it. You actually can feel it. If you're sitting right up under it, I got right up under it, and something on the grill. Yeah, I mean, it's way more warmer than I anticipated, I can tell you that.
Well, it certainly takes the chill out of the air, and I have never even cut the thing on, and I tried for the first time like day before yesterday, and I thought I blew it up because you couldn't get it to come back on after
I couldn't get it to come back on.
I said, just leave it alone.
I don't know what you did to it.
Just let it sit for a while.
It did come back on.
So I'm thrilled to hear you say that because,
I love that thing.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you've been cooking because I just don't have the room to cook like I would like to.
Right, it is. It is so tiny. That has been.
Plus, it heats up the camper so bad when you run the oven and the cooktop at the same time.
Yeah.
It's just and it's not the fact that we're using propane. It's just the fact that it heats it up. So
I'm going to tell you, I'm not claustrophobic to some degree. I mean, I'm not. I don't consider myself claustrophobic, but
it's not claustrophobic, Jason.
What
it
is
has an L in it. Claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic. Okay.
I'm not claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic.
That's okay, though.
I knew that's how you said it. I was just making sure you understood.
I got you.
I was just testing you.
Well, I hated to correct you, but I didn't know if anybody would know what claustrophobic was.
Trust me, I would have been corrected. I would have been corrected.
I believe you.
Yeah. But I find myself sometimes, especially in the bathroom, not where I feel like that
I almost spit my water out.
Anxious that I have to get out or anything like that. It's really tight in there.
It is.
And you know what? That's probably the biggest I have learned, and we've always said, ooh, we could do that. We could do that. We couldn't live in a tiny house. I do not think we could live.
You mean for permanent?
For permanent. I don't. I mean, I say that. I mean, if it came down to it, and we had to live in a tiny house or whatever, and we could. We've been living in a camper. But if I had my choice, I would not choose to live in a tiny. I always thought
as a single person, you could.
Yeah, I get because when I was in here by myself in the camper,
it wasn't bad.
It wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. But we got 4 bird cages in there. We got 2 crates for the dogs stacked up in there. Of course, all our stuff everywhere.
I mean, it
was
school books.
School books.
I mean, those are things that are necessities we can't do without.
Yeah.
And the other stuff, it gets kind of congested to a point where we have to say, we got to take this stuff out and put it somewhere. But I think as a family, it would be tight living in a tiny house. But if it's a single person, then that's a different story.
I guess you get kind of used to it too, I guess, at some point, right? I'm not used to it right now. I'm really not. I'm not used to it. I mean, it's not horrible, and I'm not complaining, or you didn't heard me complain at all. I know. But it's a lot tighter than I anticipated. I can tell you that.
And that's what I said during the last podcast, and I hope it didn't come off as I was a little spoiled girl that wanted to be in a big house, because that's not what it is at all. I was saying that the camper life was kind of tough.
It is kind of tough.
And that's the reality of it. It's not that we're not going to tough it out and make it work, but it is tough.
It is. And I'm thankful that we're not big inside people, because I can't imagine if we're in that camper, 3/4 of the day or half a day.
That
We're
wouldn't
probably
work.
in there. We're in there when we do schoolwork. We're in there when we eat, but that's not even half the time we eat.
Yeah, we're
we eat
outside half the time.
And we're in there when we sleep.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
But, somebody that was an inside person that really, was homebound, I guess you would say,
Yeah.
would not be able to do it and enjoy it.
I don't know. I know there's people that love it. I mean, there's people that love campers and camping life, and I don't know. It's been a lot more crowded than I anticipated. But like you said, we got homeschool books here, and that takes up a lot of space. Homeschool books do take up a lot of space.
But I think, let's see. Tomorrow we'll have been there 2 months.
2 months tomorrow.
2 months tomorrow.
And having the 4 bird cages.
Yeah.
I mean, that's taking up half the bunk room, Marycarl's room.
But I think that we have learned what we do well with.
Yeah.
And what we don't do well with.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom told me the other day, she said, Brooke, and I wasn't complaining about living in the camper. I just said, I'll be glad when we get our house built.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I'll be glad when we get our house built. Not saying because I'm unhappy where I am, not meaning any of that. And she said, Brooke, living in that camper is going to make a better person out of you. I don't feel like living in this camper has made us any different towards each other or, we're still the same. We don't have, I think we're all happy.
I think so too.
And Marycarl, she's, when I do say things like, I'll be happy when our house is built, she's like, Mom, I like living in the camper. So we know she's happy.
Yeah, she hasn't complained not once.
Not once. I don't even know that she'll be excited when we move in the house.
Who knows?
I don't know. It's just kind of a mystery as to she's satisfied wherever she goes, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. She probably gets excited once her room starts evolving.
Mom and I were talking, and we said that it's kind of ironic that none of us feel like we're in a bad position.
Yeah, that's true.
Not one of us has said, I don't like living like this.
Yeah.
Or I'm so ready to get over this.
Yeah.
Everybody's been fine.
Yeah, everybody's been fine.
Everybody's been fine.
Yep.
You would think out of 4 people that one person would say, I hate this.
Yeah, but no, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
So I guess
it is comfortable.
It's comfortable, and that's all we need is comfort.
Yeah, it is comfortable, but it is tight.
So,
it really is.
Before we get off the subject of grilling and cooking and stuff like that, I was going to talk about what you cooked a couple of nights ago that was so good.
With the flat iron steak from Butcher Box.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So right off the bat, we had no idea what flat iron steak was. I mean, that may be a common meat cut in your area or where you live, or you probably may know what it is. We had no clue what flat iron. I was thinking, what did I tell you, skirt steak or flank steak? I can't remember. And I really don't even know what that is.
Sounded similar.
It's not a cut that's common in our area. Here it's your basics that we see all the time. Your fancy filet mignon or a ribeye or a New York strip, and then you got T-bones, sirloins.
Chuck roast and sirloin,
but nothing, the flat iron steak. I had no idea, so I Googled it.
Well, it kept getting shoved to the back of the freezer.
Because we didn't know what it was.
So I told you, I said, I don't know I wanted all this meat out, but I don't know what to do with it.
So, I Googled it, and it is a meat that's common in Mexican cuisine, obviously, because of the recipes that kept coming up. And one of them was fajitas. And so I said, well, Marycarl loves fajitas. Me and you love Mexican. So, we were like, heck yeah, we'll fajita all the way here. And it was, I almost know off the top of my head because it was so simple. It was lime juice, lemon juice, fresh squeezed.
No. Lime juice, no lemon juice.
No, I'm sorry. Well, lime juice and orange juice. Yeah. Fresh squeezed. And then it was Mexican spices. It was like cumin, chili powder, and then Mexican oregano. And then it called for a guave, which we didn't have. So we used maple syrup and
chili powder.
Chili powder and garlic. And probably some salt and pepper, and that was it. And then we mixed all that together and put it in a bag and let it marinate for a few hours. I said 2 to 4, but I think we're 4 or more. and cooked it on the grill.
Yeah, it didn't take very long to cook.
Didn't take very long, and then I took the hot plate and sautéed some onions and bell peppers. The only thing I forgot to tell you to get was cilantro, and I could have kicked myself because we're huge cilantro fans. Even Marycarl is, and we love cilantro. And I know there's going to be people say that they hate cilantro, and come to find out, there's two different people in this world. There's people that love cilantro, and there's people that hate cilantro, and the reason why they hate it is because it tastes like dish soap to them.
I couldn't remember what they compare it to.
Dish soap. And it's something that's obviously genetic because it doesn't taste like dish soap to us.
I wonder if it tastes like dish soap to my mama because she doesn't like it.
I don't know, but
I have to ask her.
That is a thing with cilantro, is that there's a certain percentage of people that it tastes like dish soap or soapy water, or that's the kind of
Taste bud.
That's the flavor you hear. Is it tastes like dish soap, and so that's really
it
odd.
Doesn't taste like dish soap to me.
No, we
it.
love cilantro, and I cannot believe I forgot to tell you to get something.
Well, I tell you
it was
what,
still good though.
Even without the cilantro,
it was good.
That was something that I said, I don't know where I'm gonna find this. What was
we
it
even
called?
looked.
I can't even remember. I can't ever remember.
And
nobody
didn't have it.
Nobody had a flat iron steak.
No flat iron steak around here.
I even looked it up on the Walmart app.
Yeah,
I'm thinking, I can just pick it up on my next pickup. Nope. But y'all, it was so good. We had some little small fajita shells and wrapped it up in that. And I was thinking to begin with, I was like, Marycarl might eat the meat by itself because she's probably not going to eat. She'll eat chicken fajitas all day long.
Right.
But she's just that way about different foods. And I'll tell her in a restaurant, why don't you try steak this time for your fajitas? Nope, I want chicken. Chicken only. Yeah. But she ate it, and she really, really enjoyed it.
She did enjoy it. And I almost forgot that I left out that we put Cog Hill Farm salsa on it because that was what we used for our salsa too.
It was so good. It was so good. That was the first time we had opened their salsa. And it was some kind of good.
It was good. Well, we did open up one on the gift giving that day.
Oh, that's
I almost messed up and opened up the super hot.
Yep, that's
which is what we got left. And
that was the first time I had
that's first time
tried it on food.
Me and Marycarl had been eating the stew out of that one jar. But, yeah, that was the mild, and we got the hot left.
Well, my vision is so poor that it had 4 letters on the top.
Yeah.
And I thought that we were going to consume the hot that night, but it was actually a M. That my vision so bad I couldn't tell a M from a H.
I told you I didn't want any water, didn't I?
I had to get you real close to it and say, is this hot or is this mild? But I think it was medium or mild.
It was mild.
Something like that.
I think we already ate the medium.
Well, we've been about, 10 days without rain. 7 days without rain?
Yeah, I look at probably 7 days. I don't think it's been 10. About 7 days without rain.
We've gotten a lot accomplished.
We have. Almost all the ditches are completely covered. I got 2 water spigots completely installed and done. I got 4 more left. But
they're all putting out
they're
water.
all working. Yeah, I'm talking about cover it up.
Yeah, putting the bucket on it.
Yeah, there's a certain way you're supposed to do those no-freeze water spigots because they got a little seep hole and it's got a one-way valve in that thing and how it works. And when the pressure hits it, it opens up. But when you cut the pressure off, it closes, and then the water drains out of the water hose and then that faucet and drains out into the ground. And that's how it doesn't freeze because there's no water in there to freeze, and it's metal. But the life of that thing is that little seep hole. If it gets clogged up, and then it eventually rust out or freeze or whatever. And so I watched several videos on how to install those things. And yeah, you want the gravel bed, thick gravel bed, so of course it can drain in it. And then one guy put a bucket over his and weed fabric to keep any dirt from ever getting in there. And so that's what I've been doing. And you have to go get me a scoop of gravel. Then when you get through with a scoop of gravel, you got to go dump it, go get a scoop of dirt. And then, I'm sorting it all out. It is. It takes 30, 45 minutes for each one. And then I got electrical that I also stubbing up through there. So I'm doing that as well. I'm making sure that I don't glue the nylon string we got running through there. And so, yeah, it's just time consuming. It's all time consuming. And speaking of time, we're even like on this podcast, we're a day late on this one. We are a day late, and our video is going to be a day late too. So you guys see this podcast, you're going, well, the vlog. Well, the vlog is a day late too because we had our friends come over who's doing and they don't want us to say their name yet, our website.
Yes, we had company yesterday,
Yes.
and we knew they were coming. They were coming to take pictures, and we just got behind, and we weren't able to complete the video in time to have it out today. So I told Jason, I said, don't lose sleep over it. Just
because I was coming last night to come in here and stay
about
up.
7 o'clock before you were going to get started, and I said, just let it go. Let it go.
You told me to don't worry about it.
And
One
I'm
day's
so
not going to make a
glad
difference.
you took my advice.
I am glad because, when I laid down, I don't even remember closing my eyes.
I
was
could
gone.
kind of tell you were tired. It wasn't a physical tired. It was just a mental tired.
Yeah.
And I didn't want you to overdo it and let your body get, a little overworked. And
Well, I'm so glad you decided or mentioned that because.
well, just some things can wait, and that's one of them. So
Yeah.
one day late's not going to hurt.
No.
But when I went this morning, I was going to say about the rain. When I went this morning to do the pickup and get our lunch, I went by we have an electric cooperative, and that's our power.
Right.
We had them come out and look at supplying power to the house,
That's
which
right.
is kind of on the other side of where our power is currently.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were going to install 2 poles for free of charge. But if you have to go over 2, then it's a charge to have that 3rd one installed. And so they came out last week and they marked where the poles would go, and they found out that we did need a 3rd one.
Right.
So I went this morning and I took their payment, and after you submit the payment, it's usually about 5 to 7 days before they come and set your pole and get your service going. So that's all taken care of, and I think that we may have power for our house site.
And barn.
Well, it's going to rain all next week, but we'll have it sooner or later.
Yes.
Our end is done. How's
Our
that?
end's done. That's right. And our end's done. And we can run an extension cord from the power pole to the barn if need be. We could do that anyways to get some lights in there if you wanted to and start straightening up in the barn.
Yeah, it's going to rain next week, so I think we're going to be kind of stuck to inside jobs. And since we're not inside people, we could do things that pertain to outside inside. Does that make sense? Not really. Like straightening up the barn. Those
Like
are
straightening up
outside
the barn.
things
That's
that
right.
are inside the barn.
Speaking of the barn, there were so many people when we showed the video about our cats and Pink, how she lives in the barn, wanting to know about the little owl that was in the barn.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
And no, we have not seen the owl in a while. And
Before we moved our stuff in there, she was not there.
And we think that once we clean the barn out, because we cleaned it out, it had so much stuff in it from the previous owners, and no one's lived here in a long time. And once we cleaned all that stuff out, and so we think that the rodents just kind of went away.
We took away their habitat.
Yeah.
So, and we had to take away the rodent habitat in order to move our stuff in. So we took there were old dressers in there. There were all kinds of
All kinds of old stuff.
We got a little popping going
It's
on.
okay.
No, it's not. It's really loud.
It goes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't okay in my ear. So we took all that stuff away, scrap metal. Y'all saw the video where we took the scrap metal away, and there were just nests galore for rats in there.
Tons of nests everywhere.
So we took their housing away, and they left. And
Yep. And
I
then-
think that was just the owl's food source.
And then Pink came in too, and Pink's been patrolling it. So yeah, I just think that that it's not a all you can eat buffet in there anymore, and the little owl moved on.
Yeah, I think she moved on. I think she went to a place where she could have more readily supply. She may be sitting right outside the barn. We don't know.
We don't know.
But, they're so elusive that you don't even realize.
Yeah.
Had we not had the bright lights with the generator on in there, I don't know that we ever would have seen her.
Yeah, it was. I think she flew over is how we originally saw her.
Maybe.
I think that's how we originally saw her because, yeah, they're like little ninjas. Yeah, you can't hear them fly. That's what's so crazy about them. Their flight is completely silent, and Marycarl knows why, and I don't forget why, but something to do with their feather makeup and their bones or something, and that makes them super quiet. So when they're swooping down to go get a rat or mouse, it doesn't hear them, which a normal bird makes that flutter noise when they flap their wings, but an owl doesn't.
Silent.
Silent.
And that's how they're such wonderful hunters.
Yes. And the big old eyes they got.
So you were editing a video one day. I don't even know what day it is. But Marycarl and I, that's our TV time. It's nighttime. We really don't have much we can do. So we find nature shows. And we found a nature show on ospreys. It was on PBS.
Oh, yeah.
And we thoroughly enjoyed learning about osprey. Of course, she knew most of it already, but I should say she enjoyed the show, but I enjoyed learning things that I didn't even realize. So if y'all get a chance and I don't even care if you're a bird fanatic, you just would enjoy learning.
The osprey show.
The osprey show. It's PBS and it's nature. And then it's they have several seasons, but this one was, I believe it was season 38. But it's an osprey show. And you know what we're watching now?
What's that?
Well, we only watch it when we didn't watch it. Yeah, we did. We watched a little bit of it yesterday evening because you thought you were going to edit and you didn't. It's about bats.
Ooh, she loves bats.
Well, I am floored to learn that the only way that the guave cactus, is that what it is pollinated?
It's by bats?
It's by bats.
Really?
That's the tequila plant.
That is interesting.
And so it's this guy, he's a bat expert, and he's in Mexico, and he follows the tequila bat. I can't remember what it's called. That's all they do is pollinate nectar, tequila, guave, cactuses. And it was just amazing. And a couple of years ago, they lost them. He followed their migratory pattern as they migrate, and there were 2 hurricanes that season, and he lost where they were in their migration.
Ooh,
he
great.
thought they were gone.
Ooh,
He thought they had disappeared, and he found them deep inside a cave. And when he came out of that cave and he had found the bats were still alive, and he was so giddy. I mean, it was just wonderful to see the expression on his face after he realized the bats were still alive.
That's interesting. Yeah, Marycarl loved it when we went to the caverns. One of the caverns, what was Cathedral?
The little chicken nugget bat.
Yeah, wasn't it one? It was really, really tiny.
I think there's been a bat set just about every cave we've went to.
Really?
But not in numerous populations.
No.
Just 1 or 2.
Yeah, just 1 or 2. And I think it's the time of season because there must be migratory. Is that right? Or all of I guess not all bats are migratory though.
Do you remember that one cave that we went to and they said that you could see them going in and out at night?
Yeah.
I don't remember which one that was.
I can't either. We've been to so many. Marycarl loves those things.
But, bats kind of get a bad rap because everybody thinks that they're bloodsuckers. And there are vampire bats, but that's just one species of lots of different.
And those are not around here, I don't believe. I think those are...
No, and they suck blood out of mammals.
Yep.
That's how
I think cattle's their main...
I don't know.
Food source,
Poor Moody. Watch out, buddy.
Moody.
Poor Moody.
Poor Moody. Oh, Moody has been something else, y'all. He is... I keep saying he's settled in, but God, he's a lot more comfortable now.
He is such a fruitcake.
He is a fruitcake. Oh, my gracious.
We just went from bats to Moody.
I know it. It's just how we roll. That he literally follows me when I'm out there like a little puppy dog. Every step I take. Y'all follow us on Instagram or Facebook. You've seen it. But he follows me everywhere. He helped me build the compost bins.
Marycarl and I had to go to the dentist that day.
Oh, y'all did. He helped me. He's been helping me cover the ditch up. Oh, my God. He's just everywhere.
I came out of the camper and I had my little fruit peelings, compost, stuff.
Right.
And so I walked into the flower garden and walked down by his fence to the worm bin.
Yes.
Because that's what we do with our fruit scraps and stuff, is we feed the worms. So I'm walking down the fence line and he's like,
That's him.
He walked with me all the way to the worm bin. And as I'm looking in there, making sure we still have worms and everything's healthy, he's leaning his head over there, just nosy as can be. I walked back and I intentionally kind of gave it a little jog to see what would happen.
He jogged with you?
He jogged with me.
Yeah. He's something else. He is something else. I don't know who's more curious. I say that. I don't think he's curious. I think he just wants to be right there. Nugget is curious. So it's a difference between the two. Nuggets, I can go over there and start working on the waters, and Nugget is curious, and he sits there and wants to peck and pick and grab and look, and what's that? What's that dangling? You got something on? Let me see your watch. Moody's not like that. Moody just stands there.
And he's just looking at you like, what are you doing?
Do you mind if I stand here with you?
I don't want to hurt you or anything.
Yeah.
I just want to watch.
If you get close enough to me, I will lick you.
I had reservations when we got him that we may not be making the right decision. Of course,
I did.
Well, you just don't know the future, and you don't know how things are going to turn out. So we said we would do this on a trial basis to see how it worked out. We told each other that.
Yeah.
We said it may or may not work out, but we'll give it a shot. Well, it's worked out.
It has worked out. Worked out great.
It has really worked out.
Mm-hmm.
He's extremely happy. There's no doubt about that.
He is extremely happy. And I will say this. Yes, we are going to build Moody a shelter. But there's a but. Number one, he really needs a shelter for shade more than anything.
Yes.
And so it's not hot right now. But we're going to relocate Moody and Tip.
Yes.
And we have plans.
Or maybe another cow. We don't know yet.
Yes, and so we have plans on getting another animal.
Bovine.
We could get a miniature cow. We could get a regular, whatever. We'll figure something out. We may even get a donkey, but another pal, and put them in the bigger pasture back there. And that's where we're going to put our barn. But we don't want to, 'cause that's building a shelter of that size is not going to be cheap. And that's not something
You can move easily.
well, yeah, it's going to have to be concreted in the ground. So, you're talking about building one in one area for Moody, and then if we plan on moving him in a few months to another area that, so I don't want to build it twice for sure.
Well, a lot of people had said, what about a shelter like what you have for Nugget? Y'all, he
Moody,
would push that
he would
shelter.
rip it apart.
He would have that thing tumped over by the time we left out of the gate.
It would be trash.
And I'm not saying that laughing at the people that say it, but you have to understand how strong he is.
Yeah. Well, you know what? If you look at that picture of that shelter, it's got horses under it. I don't know if you buy it. It's got pictures of horses.
I could see a horse doing
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's got pictures of horses under it. But Moody would not. He would flip that thing.
It would be
gosh.
squashed by the time we got to the gate.
Or the canvas had been ripped up.
Yep.
It would.
I mean, y'all, that red hay feeder that we had in there for the goats before Moody came, he could take that hay feeder and pick it up with his head and put it back down.
Yeah.
And so you have to realize that any kind of shelter for him is going to have to be a permanent shelter.
And it's got to be beefy. It's got to
be beefy.
Yeah. It's got to have poles concreted in the ground, and it's got to be tall enough where he doesn't try to rub his head on the roof part of it.
And you have to know he's going to scratch his body on those poles.
Yeah, they're going to have to have
6 by 6s.
reinforces. Yeah, it's going to have to be. And I'm thinking if we're going to build it, might as well build it big enough that we can put the hay under it too, is what I think.
Yeah. And plus that, a lot of people say Moody needs to get out of the snow. We don't have snow.
We don't have snow here.
We don't have snow. If we do, it's just a light dusting, and it's not enough to even wet the animal.
Yeah. We very, very, very mild winters here, y'all. We have super mild, like I even said in previous video, our freeze line for burying water pipe is 5 inches under the ground. That's code here. So, and most people up north, it's like way deep, way, way deep. But we don't have to worry about that at all.
And I have never heard of anybody having a shelter for a cow. So when the audience started suggesting that we get a shelter for Moody, I was like, what kind of shelter does a cow have?
Yeah, cows
because
around here don't have shelters.
we are in a cattle farming nation.
There's a huge cow pasture right across the street from us, and a
us.
huge cow pasture beside us.
There's cows everywhere, and I have never,
everywhere.
ever seen a cow shelter.
No.
So when people started saying that, I was like, hey, I didn't know such a thing existed. So I started Googling cow shelters, And there's like nothing unless it's a barn.
Yeah, unless it's a barn.
There's nothing sturdy enough that a cow could get under.
It'd have to be beefy, I tell you that.
He would literally pick something up and tote it away.
He would. He's a big boy. He's strong. Very, very strong. And as a matter of fact, once he gets 4 or older.
I thought it was 2 or over.
No, it was 4 or older.
Okay.
I think I'm right. 4 or older, a steer that's 4 or older.
I think it's only a Holstein steer.
Is then called an ox. It's no longer called a steer.
Is that because you don't process them past that point?
Correct. And at that point, they are typically used for pulling.
Oh.
They're like draft horses. They're for pulling, plowing, that kind of thing. And that's what they were used for back in the day. Huh. And so when you hear the word ox or oxen, that's talking about, in general, I mean, there could be ox could be used for, I think, other types of animals besides a cow or a bovine. But that's if you're talking about a cow or a steer. If you used to call them an ox, they're a 4-year-old older steer that's still alive. And that's what we can't call them a steer anymore. We'll have to call him an ox.
I started laughing because there was, I can't remember where I saw this posted, but obviously this person hasn't viewed any videos. And there was a one-line comment, "Why do y'all keep calling that steer a cow?" and I literally, did you see the comment?
No,
I literally busted out laughing. I said, "'Cause we don't know no better."
Well, it's just because where we live, everybody calls them cows.
Everybody's a cow.
Everybody calls them a cow.
And
here.
I
everybody.
thought to myself, please overlook that and enjoy the content.
That's a cow pasture over there.
That's a cow patty.
That's a cow pasture over here. That's just what here in Alabama.
They're cows.
They're cows. They're all called cows, and it's just a regional thing. You know, we say ain't, we say y'all, we call them cows, and it's just what it is here.
Piper's granddaddy is a cattle farmer, and they're cows to him.
He calls them cows,
and he has been farming his entire life.
Yes.
So say I'm wrong if you wish, but
just what we call them here. Just what we call them here.
I just laughed because I thought, what difference does it make? That was my bottom line. It doesn't make any difference.
It doesn't. And
we're just trying to make you smile.
That's
and
it.
if it means that much to you, we'll try to do better. But he's still a cow.
Yeah, it's just hard. It's
to
just
break that cycle.
Well, it would be like us telling somebody up north that you can't call it pop or soda. You have to call it a Coke, because that's what we call it. We call it all Coke here. So that's what you got to call it. For now on, if you don't call it a Coke, then you're saying it wrong, and it's just that hard habit to break. It's just hard habit to break. You know, just a lot of people got tickled about the toboggan. It was in I don't know if it was on the podcast or the video where I had a toboggan on, and that's what we call a beanie.
That was when we were opening the gifts.
Oh, that's what it was, opening gifts. And, you know, some people call them beanies. Some people call them, what's another name for them?
I don't know, but it's a toboggan.
We call them toboggan. But up north, a toboggan is a sled.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Learn something new.
Yeah, so.
Well, I did see where people were laughing about us calling it a toboggan. They'd say toboggan, laughing faces. I was like, what's wrong with my toboggan? I thought it was cute.
That's why. It's because they don't say toboggan. We say toboggan.
A matter of fact, one day last week, it was cool outside. Marycarl went over to her swing, and I was going back in to get something. And she said, "Mama, grab my toboggan when you're going in." And I just now thought about it because I just have never thought about toboggan.
Well, the funniest one that I remember growing up is I had cousins that lived in Seattle, Washington, and they would come down every summer, and we would all go to the beach because my granddaddy had a trailer at Panama City Beach, and this was a long time ago. This was before Panama City was like it is now. This was long time ago, and then we'd all go to the beach, and we wore flip flops. Mm-hmm. But they didn't call them flip-flops.
What do they call them?
They call them thongs. So can you imagine?
Well, if you ask me, or if I ask you, Jason, are you going to take your thong to the beach? You would probably look at me like I had 4 heads and say, if you want me to, I will.
Oh, so yeah. So that's thongs here, it's like a G-string.
That's exactly right.
It's so the whole cow things. It is funny. It's funny to us.
It's funny to
we
us.
Laugh.
They're all cows to us.
They're all cows to us. They're all cows. They're all peacocks and they're all cows.
And y'all, that's what it is.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, even though it is a day late, of the Cogcast podcast. And I guess we'll catch the Cog Squad on the next one.
Hey, stay tuned because Marycarl might be joining the next one.
She might
be. May. I'm going to leave that with a question mark.
It came up.
She was going to participate in this one, but she said she'd rather wait to the next one.
She'd rather wait to the next one, which is kind of, I don't have a third mic anymore. I do have one, but it's packed up.
I was thinking I could sit outside until y'all finish.
Well, maybe. I was thinking I could sit outside.
No, you're the moderator. I'm just your co-host.
I was thinking y'all.
And we may have a gift opening very, very soon.
Very soon.
So the post office had to bring the gifts out to the car today because they brought them in a buggy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And they found out what we do.
It's going to be 2 in December, I believe.
2. Yep. So
stay tuned for that.
Catch y'all on the next
y'all
one.
Be good.
Well, it's another one in the books for the Cog Hill 40. Join us again next week for our next edition of the Cog Hill podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.